And did you go alone? Asked Morrel after he had read it. Emmanuel accompanied me, father. He was to have waited for me at the corner of the Rue du Musée. But strange to say, he was not there when I returned. Monsieur Morrel! Exclaimed a voice on the stairs. Monsieur Morrel! It is his voice, said Julie. At this moment Emmanuel entered, his countenance full of animation and joy. The Pharaon! He cried. The Pharaon! What? What? The Pharaon? Are you mad, Emmanuel? You know the vessel is lost. The Pharaon, sir! They signal the Pharaon! The Pharaon is entering the harbor! Morrel fell back in his chair. His strength was failing him. His understanding, weakened by such events, refused to comprehend such incredible, unheard-of, fabulous facts. But his son came in. Father, cried Maximilian, how could you say the Pharaon was lost? The lookout has signaled her, and they say she is now coming into port. My dear friends, said Morrel, if this be so, it must be a miracle of heaven. Impossible, impossible! But what was real and not less incredible was the purse he held in his hand. The acceptance receded. The splendid diamond. Ah, sir, exclaimed Cocles. What could it mean, the Pharaon? Come, dear ones, said Morrel, rising from his seat. Let us go and see, and heaven have pity on us if it be false intelligence. They all went out, and on the stairs met Madame Morrel, who had been afraid to go up into the study. In a moment they were at the Canebière. There was a crowd on the pier. All the crowd gave way before Morrel. The Pharaon, said every voice. What in the actual hell is happening? Now, okay. You're really trying to resist the 2025, 2026 cynical viewpoint of what is often called in podcasting circles a Jacob's Ladder scenario, where did Morrel actually do the thing and now all of this is just kind of a afterlife fantasy? Because otherwise none of this makes sense. I thought we'd be getting an explanation of the diamond and the receipt, not the fucking return of the Pharaon. Sorry, I'm swearing. Again, this chapter has sent me, folks. I am going through it. What is actually happening here? Was it false information that they got that the Pharaon was lower? But the crew, folks, we met Penelon. We met the captain. Oh my God. We got the story of the Pharaon going down. So this isn't like a ghost ship. What is actually? Okay, I feel like I've been slapped in the face. I'm not gonna lie. Both in terms of like the shock of what Morrel has gone through, but then like a slap in the face of like, hey, snap out of your hysterics. I'm so like speechless and flabbergasted, and I don't even know what to comment on. In a way, this also feels like the end of A Christmas Carol, where Scrooge is like waking up from his nightmare of the ghost of Christmas future and suddenly has all of this benevolence, and he's gathering everyone together and, skipping out into the streets, throwing snowballs at little kids and buying turkeys all over the place. Like, there's just this moment of unbridled joy, but it's based in my utter confusion. I mean, I'm not confused about what's happening. I'm just confused about how it could be possible. Okay, listen, folks, it's easy for a podcast host to sound more intelligent than he, she, or they are. We have the power to edit. We have the power to research. We have the power to sound like experts. I'm really trying to give you an unbridled look into my experience reading this book. So, like, forgive me for my naivete, and, like, it's Dante. Of course, I know it's Dante. I was so immersed in the thought process of Morrel here that I was confused by the return of the Pharaon. But of course it's Dante. I mean, duh, it's Dante. I mean, I feel stupid. I'm like, okay, now I'm nervous to go, and as I'm recording this, future me is going to have to edit this, and I'm like, I'm going to cringe at listening to myself fall under the spell of Dumas to such a degree that I don't recognize that the return of the Pharaon clearly has to be some machinations of Dante. I feel so stupid right now. Holy shit. Okay. What is even happening? I don't know. We have one more episode left tomorrow. Maybe we'll get the answer to this. Maybe it'll extend into chapter 31. My brain is so turned around and slap happy and confused, having gone from the lowest lows to the highest highs. I'm spinning around. So I want to get out of this chapter. I've had it with chapter 30. It's brought me through too much. So let's just push through to tomorrow. But before we do, I'm going to try my hardest to get through this Patreon stuff because it's the penultimate episode of a chapter, and you know what that means. I got to talk about Patreon, patreon.com/gruntworkpod. It is the Patreon for the podcast network that hosts this show, where you can contribute as little as $1 per month, but as much as you want with no commitments. It goes to keep the show ad-free, artist-owned. Can you imagine if there was sponsors that I was beholden to that were like, you know what? We're pulling our funding because you make no sense episode to episode with what you're spouting in your commentary. We don't have to rely on them. And what you get for contributing is story-only audio at the end of each chapter. So as of tomorrow, you can get the story-only audio for chapters 1 through 30 if you want to listen to this only as an audiobook. It's a great way to keep up with the show. If you miss a few days, if you miss a chapter or two, you can keep up with what's happening. And the podcast network is starting to pull together a few additional things. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to affect what y'all get for the Countdown to Monte Cristo. You can certainly let me know what you would like to see as a contributing member. I do release additional short stories from time to time on the Patreon feed. So if you are a Patreon subscriber, you saw that I released a ghost story for Christmas, The Kit Bag by Algernon Blackwood, one of my favorite authors. And previously, I had released The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. So you can get stuff like that if you're a contributing member over at patreon.com/gruntworkpod. But you can also support the show by leaving us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can subscribe on YouTube and leave a comment there, because all of that activity helps to get us into the algorithm and in front of people who have not yet seen the show. Let me take a moment. Because I record these episodes so far in advance, sometimes it's hard for me to celebrate milestones as they happen. Recently, we passed the 10,000 downloads marker. That is huge for a first-year podcast, and I couldn't do it without folks like you. And the fact that you listen and rate, review, and share is a huge reason why that is able to exist. I deeply appreciate that. I can't even fathom those numbers. I'm a little embarrassed that my rantings and ravings from a closet are reaching that many people. But I'm very proud of it, and I am very thankful to all of you for making stuff like that happen. And it is because you rate, you review, and you share the show with people you know that might like it. So you can send people an episode, you can send people the podcast feed, the YouTube channel. It goes a long way to actually getting them to listen, and then it's my job to keep them hooked here. Lastly, you can join for free, anybody can, our Discord to continue the conversation about this book, this story, this podcast, anything at all you want. You can find the link to that in today's show notes. It's in the show notes for every episode. So join me here tomorrow for the final episode of this heart-wrenching and mind-numbing and mind-blowing chapter 30. Until then, you know where to find me. It's right here. Okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.